So today's topic is errors or ralat. Okay, errors that you make during your C programming. Okay, in most of the cases, I talk about errors, syntax errors, and also the logic errors. Okay, now let's look at the detail of the errors. So there are 4 types of error. I think I have touched some of this in the previous lecture. Okay, just to refresh your memory after 1 week of break. Okay, so we have 4 types. Syntax error. You already understand this. So if you make any mistakes, you cannot run the program. Okay, and the second one is you cannot run the program and you cannot see the results. Second one is runtime error. This is during the execution. You can run the compile and then something goes wrong during the execution time, and then this also you are not able to see the results. Okay, number 3, the logic error. Logic error, something that you do it wrongly, but syntax wise it is okay, but the thing is something happened not like you intended to happen. You want something else, but something else came out. So that's the logic error. And that number 3, you can still compile, but the results will be wrong. Okay, number 4, the linker error. So you try to get the header files, function, and so on, but the link is wrong. So this one also will not make you able to compile, compile and execute your program. So in all 4 cases, the only thing that will able to execute the program is the logic error, even though the output will be wrong. Okay. We also discuss about this one. You need to understand this one, the message missing something, missing the parentheses before the semicolon, and this is execution error. So this is a syntax error examples. We go to one of this, and then I think I went to until okay, I think we went to until this one, dangling else, because dangling else, it doesn't, you are not sure which else this is belongs to. Is it belongs to this inner else, or is it belongs to the upper else? Okay, so be careful with your curly braces. So in this case, this belongs to the nested if, because I told you before that if you have something like this, if else, this is a pair, this is a couple. It doesn't belong to this if. Okay, now this one. We also talk about this one, just to refresh, off by 1. So off by 1, remember that in C programming or any C++, C#, and so on, in any C programming, if you want to using the counting, you can start from 0. So you start from 0 and then you end until, for example, in this case, this is 50 number of integers. So you can start from 0 and then you can stop at 49. Because why? Because when you start from 0, you are counting number 0 as 1, 2, and so on. So until 0 until 49, you are going to have 50 number of integers. However, in this case, what's wrong in this case is that because you start from 1, but I will be end at 49. So meaning that you are going to have only 49 number of integers. Okay, so in that case, like we did last time, two of your friends suggest that there are two ways. One is what you can do is you can add, I'm not sure you can annotate this one. Yes. Let's see. Is there any? In this case, I cannot annotate anything. Okay, so it's okay. So you can do what you can fix in this case is you can do I is less or equals to 50, or I can say I is less than 51. So that will make the integers stop at 50. So you're going to have 1 until 50. So this is the key point right here, the stopping criteria, the stopping conditions, the condition where it falls. Be careful with this one because this will also make your life difficult when the looping process is infinitely continuing. And also please be careful with I++ or plus I. In most cases, it doesn't make any difference, but for example, for while loops and do while loops, so those two, you need to be careful with where you put your increment and your decrement. Okay, and also we talk about this, we don't understand why it doesn't work, and when it works, we also don't understand why. So that's the basic one. Okay, so let's look at this one. This is an incorrect block. Okay, if y, my purpose is like this. If y is equal to 0, I need to display the warning, and then I need to break from this conditional statement. Okay, now, do you notice any error in this case? So this one, if y equals 0, this is what we understand that it's not, this is not from the C programming understanding. So this means that if y is equals to 0, not assigned to 0, if y equals to 0, display the warning, y is 0, and then break from this conditional statement. Okay, now, do you notice any error?
At
The expression.
yes.
Okay, which expression?
Before the closing expression, like the arrow only have the opening expression, and then at the end it doesn't have the expression.
Okay, you call it as string. That is string. Anything? Yes, the string, S-T-R-I-N.
String.
Yeah,
Okay.
string. So a string is like a statement, like a sentence. So that sentence is called a string, because when you see something like this, the double quotation, okay, we are going to learn about the string and so on in the next chapter. Okay, when you see this, what you call this double quotation, so anything inside the double quotation is called string. Okay, and you can see, yes, you are correct, that this is one error, is the syntax error, which does not close the string. So you have open double quotation, and then you need to close the double quotation at the end of the /n. Okay, that is one error. Thank you. And do you think that it will be any other error?
At if
Mhm.
not tabatindi. Not tabatindi.
After this one, semicolon, titik bertindih.
Yes.
Actually, no. The only thing that you have the semicolon is when you do the do while. For if condition, for loops, while loops, there is no semicolon.
Should have the curly braces until break.
Yes, thank you. So because this one incorrect block, meaning that if you remember that I told you in the very beginning of our class that in C programming, only the first statement will be executed by the conditional statement or by the for loops. Okay, only the first statement. So meaning that if you have something like this, the one that I want is I want to display the warning and then break. So if you do something like this, only the printf is going to be executed. However, the break is outside this condition. So if you want to put break inside this if condition, you need to put the curly braces after if, or maybe right here is okay, and also underneath the break. You need to break that. Okay, is it clear? Incorrect block, meaning that those block belongs to who? Those block belongs to who? So if you want to be safe, I told you every time, please use the curly braces to separate which statement belong to which condition. Same thing. So if you do something like this, after you fix, for example, after you fix this, what you call it, double quotation, okay, the next error will be the logic error. Okay, why logic error? Because this is printing. We will be printing in the black console. However, break is going to be outside your if condition. Meaning that if you have some calculation, it will still trying to calculate. For example, if I want to divide x over y, meaning that I'm dividing x over 0 value. So that is going to be runtime error. Okay. All right, any questions so far? So far, so good. Okay, now let's look at this one. No break. And I think we have seen this. Remember that for every cases in switch statement, except the last case, you need to put the break at the end. For example, in this case, I need to put, I think it's better if I share my, that's okay. Okay, so if you do something like this, integer n and y, so this is my initial, not initial, my declaration. And then scan from my keyboard. So scan my value of n from the keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to use this switch condition. Okay, so for in this case 3, 4, and so on, this is just a simple case. So at this point, you need to put the break at the end of the cases. However, for example, in case 4, it's okay if you don't put the break statement. I have stressed this in our if else and then conditional statement before, that the last part is optional. Same thing if you want to put the default case, the default also optional if you want to put it or if you don't want to put it. However, most people put it because if something happened, you can see that the error is from the default. Okay, so in this case, if you put, let's say, case key in 3, the output will be this one. It will be case 3, and then it will take this value of 9, because this is the last case. You need to put the break at the end. All right. So the output will be 9, because this is when you key in 3, the output will be 9. But if you key in 4, the output will be this one also, will be 16. Same thing if you put, let's say if you put 2, so the cases are all false. So Y is going to be any value inside the C program. Okay, you can try to do this, try to execute this in your, try to practice and execute this and see the differences between these cases, whether or not you put the break, or maybe if you put the continue and so on. Okay, so and look at this one, mixing data type. Okay, mixing data type, meaning that you mix the integer and you put the double as well as the float data type in one statement, or and so on. Okay. Okay, now let's look at this one. I think, so let's look at this one. This one is F, specifier F. Okay, so meaning that for specifier F, it's going to display the floating number. So however, you need to be careful with this one, because when this one is floating number, and in this case, these are integers. So the floating number is going to be evaluated at the end. Okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, let's look at, show you. Okay. Okay, let's share this one. What is my sharing? Okay, now let's look at this one. Let's look at printf. It says that answer equals to. So we are trying to mix this data type. For example, what was that? 3.425 plus, for your information, you can also add this one. You can also add in the printf. 3.425 plus 2/3 plus, what was the last one? $7.9. Can you see this one? I'm not sure. Let me try to. Nampak jelas ke?
Nampak.
Okay. So I want to show you this one. Let's say printf. If you remember, last time when we did the this one, I'm going to show you the difference between when you put this one f/n That should be backslash. Okay, so you can see that this first statement, if you didn't put the decimal point, this 2 and 3 is going to be evaluated as an integer. So you expect that as for integer, okay, let me see. It's nothing. Okay, so if you can see that you are going to have, let me use this only first one. Okay. So in this case, let's use this one, integer. Actually, this is from different one. Integer x equals to 2. Maybe it doesn't want to recognize my integer x. Oh. Okay, now you can see that it says right here, if you see the warning sign, okay, syntax error before string constant. And then it says conflicting types for printf, and so on. So let's use what we're supposed to do, which is the integer data type. Is there any other error? Syntax error before printing constant. Let me see. Oh, I think this belongs to this one. Let's see. Okay. I don't want this. Okay, no wonder. All right. Let's use this SF. Back to square one. Okay. No, so yes. So this is what I intend to. Okay. I'm not sure if you can see the output. Actually, usually it's displayed as a warning, but this one is good. Mine not share output. Hold on. Full screen. Hold on. Mana dia punya. Okay. Saya nak share dia punya output. Okay. So this is what is supposed to happen just now, because I forgot to put the main program. Okay, so this is what's supposed to happen. You can see that the answer is 0.000. Oh. Okay, so the answer should be 0.000. That's because we have this 2/3 is actually 0.66667. However, because this one is integer, 2/3 is 0.6. So we are talking about the floor function. In the, for example, you learn in calculus that floor, when you have 0.5, it's still 0. When you have 0.9, it's still 0. So in this case, this is also the same example. So unless if you put this as float, then the answer will be okay, then the answer will be 0.6667. Okay, so that's one. Okay, however, if you put this in this one, in this case, okay, let's look at this one. We expect that this one is an integer, 2.3. So if you add this, it will be something like berapa tu kalau tambah 3.425 tambah 7.29 jadi 10.325, I suppose. 10 or 11. Oh yeah, sorry, not 10, 11 sebab 7 tambah 4. Okay, so this is your answer, 11.325. This is 7 because this 2/3 is 0. Okay, unless I put 2.0 and then 3.0. Okay, are you following me? Awak ikut saya ke?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
please be careful with the what we call decimal number. So in that case, if you didn't put this one, that one will be 0. Okay, now let's look at this one, another one. If you put this one into integer, so integer is going to take the whole number. See? Yes. Okay, so what do you expect? You expect your answer should be 10, I think. Okay. You expect your answer should be, right? Okay. Mana dia hilang? Okay. So you can see that you expect your answer should be 10 because you see this one is 3.425 and in what? In integer, that one is 3 and this one you know that, and 7.9 you expect it to be 7. Okay, you can see the difference. This is logic error. If you put the integer and then the mixing data type. So you need to be careful in this case. So if you want to be specific, for example, let's see, if I declare X is this guy, okay, and then I put like right here X plus Y, maybe I can say, oh, maybe because it doesn't understand the case. Let's see, is that going to be the one? Now you can see that you can see the difference when you declare, right? Even though you put this one integer as 3.425 and then Y 7.9, so the answer still is what you are expected to have, which is 10. Okay, because you specify the value. Okay, so the thing is, actually, so what does it mean by this one? The lesson of this. Okay, the lesson of this one is this. Let's close this one. Okay, if you remember that I always told you, C programming, C programming, yes, in any programming or in most of the programming, it goes line by line, meaning that it doesn't skip the line and then look at any, is there any value that you assign after that. Okay, so in this case, if you see something like this, where is my annotation? Okay. Now, the difference is this: when you declare integer, so it will take X as 3 and then y as 7. Okay, now that is one example. However, if you didn't declare your variables, say I didn't declare, there's no such thing as this one. And then I put right here 3.425, and then just what we did before, 7.9. Okay, so in C programming, C understand as float. And also the same thing, this is float. Floating number. By the way, floating number meaning that you have the something e to the power of something. So you have this one, decimal points. Okay. I think if you learn about the number, you can see that this is a floating number because you have the index. Okay, so this C understand as floating number, and they understand this as integer. Okay, so in this case, when you evaluate this one, but you specify as integer, meaning that you want something as floating number, but the output is going to be integer. Remember, integer from floating number is easy to understand. However, from floating number to integer, it's not that easy because of the difficulty. For example, how to explain this? Actually, floating number, just for your information, floating number, you can represent this by alpha and alpha sigma a1 times an, and then beta to the power of n. Okay, floating number. So this is the floating number. This is why this is C cannot understand, and then it will produce some weird numbers. You can see just now that the number is quite huge, which is not what you are supposed to do, supposed to get. However, when you're going from integer to floating number, it is not that difficult. Okay. So it's not that complicated, but remember that from integer to float, this is not a problem, not much problem. But this is for specifier. But if you think that from float to integer, this is D, this is, don't use it. Just bear in mind something. Okay, so in this case, you can see that you can see that it's not good to mix the data type. Okay, now let's look at how we can try to fix the error. All right, so fixing the error is called debugging. So just bugging. This is the process of finding and resolving program errors. So how to debug? You can see that bugging, you can understand bugging is something that is bothering you. So it does bothering you when you do any kind of programming errors. It's hard to find. Okay, so what you can, some people say that my code never has bugs. It just develops random unexpected features. So this is what you're trying to justify your code. All right, now how to fix? This is the most, like I told you, if you have syntax error, it's easy to detect. However, fixing logic errors is the most difficult part. Okay, because you cannot see where your problem is. Okay, the first one, the resolution of our fixing this logic error. We call it as program tracing. Okay, so what is program tracing? This is DIY, do it yourself. Try to mimic the computer execution by hand. Okay, in this case, you try to understand the computer, how is it going to execute your problem. So this is why when you want to write a program, you need to write a small program first. For example, if you want to find the sum of anything, for example, the sum of your marks, the total sum of your final marks, for example, you start from test number 1 and test number 2 first. Okay, and then that's two variables, or maybe that's two sum. Okay, try to do it in small number first, and then you can add more. Okay, for another example is when you have the for loops, you are going to have the I stop until 1000, for example. Do not do directly from 1 to 1000. You need to start, for example, from 1 to 10 first. Okay, start from 1 to 10 and then try to see if you are going to see any errors when I is increased. Okay, I think for loops, any kind of loops, the only problems that you are going to get is the infinite looping, meaning it's still going on and you need to press Ctrl C in order to stop the loop process. All right, the next thing about the for loops, this is especially for loops, because for loops is, if you remember last time, when we talk about the for loops, we have the nested for loops. Okay, so in nested for loops, you are going to put the break and also maybe some continue, the break statement and then the continue statement. And also the nested for loops is involved in the array. So array is what? Array is like a table. So remember the nested for loops? Those two, if you mix which one is row, which one is column, is going to give you a really headache if you mix those two. But if you are consistent which part is for the row, which part is for the column, then you are going to be okay. Okay. The second process, the second method is it's called echo printing. So you debug by using the printf statement. This is to notify if any error is executed at selected statement or operation. Okay, number 3 is start with small program. So number 3 is go back to the number 1 to start with the small program. Okay, now this one, the echo printing, I want to stress on this one. Okay, what does it mean by this printf statement? Okay, let's see. problem with this one is I cannot annotate it. Let's see. And okay, maybe we can use this one. Okay, now if I want to fix this one, let's see, what does it mean by this? Let's see, where is my logic error? Okay, now let's look at this. Okay, if you look at this one, if you want to see, for example, I refer to the method number 2, which is echo printing, meaning that use printf in my specific block. Okay, so for example, if I want to see my this one, the else part, maybe this one, I can try to put, for example, if I put my printf right here, something. Okay, and I can also put let's let's see this one, and then careful. You can also put this right here. It's not a problem as long as it has the curly braces, and this one. Okay, I can put right here. And I can also put my printf right here. Okay, so meaning that when this one is true, it's going to evaluate this one, and also after that, it's going to evaluate the nested if else. Okay, you can see this one, try to use the printf. And when you think that your program is okay, then you can just comment on this, or maybe you can just completely remove the printf statement because it's going to get in the way of your programming. Okay. Okay, let's, so we just now, maybe we can take 5-minute breaks, and then we are going to continue. This is 5 minutes. 4:53, okay, take 5. Continue at